Good morning and welcome to Morning at NTV. My name is Idris Matusegawa and we are in that segment where we talk about things that affect you at home. And remember, to be part of the conversation, go to our social media platforms, that is on Twitter, which is X now. Look out for NTV Uganda and use the hashtag Morning at NTV, or go to YouTube and be able to live stream this conversation and be able to do so even after the conversation has happened. Now, as the country plans for the financial year 2024-2025, there is a key interest in what is involved in the budget. As we discuss every Friday here, we talk about the arts, and the question today is, should government invest in the arts industry? And in studio, I have two gentlemen who are capable and deserved to have much more to say on this. That is Daniel Kazibwe, aka Raggae Dee, and Emma Carlos, who is a music business consultant and arts administrator. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Looking good. Mami Kazibwe.
Good morning. Good morning.
I like the gray hair. Is it natural or?
It is natural.
Really?
Yes.
And it has formed itself very uniquely so.
That is where it is placed by God.
Of course. And I'll start with you, Mr. Daniel. The arts industry.
Yes.
Does it deserve to be thought for during the budget?
Definitely.
Why?
It is the biggest employer of the youth. That's the first thing. It has a very big value chain. The entertainment sector, the innovative sector, we have it is wide, where we have from 19 to 35 years, they get easy jobs, quick jobs without so many questions. Who's your father? Where do you live? You know, if I'm going to weave a basket, I do not need to be in Kampala. I can be somewhere in Masaka, somewhere in Kabale, somewhere in Gulu, and I weave my basket and people buy it. At the end of the day, if we know that we're looking for to close the gap of unemployment, we need to think about a sector that does things very quick. It takes long to have a coffee plantation become profitable. It takes a short time to have a one-stop center where you have film, music, audiovisual, like crafts, fashion. Imagine, you've seen what is happening in Europe. One designer can have more money than Uganda. Why? Because he has Gucci design, which is a brand. Now, everyone in the world is looking for that Gucci design. But which is the brand that Uganda sells as that design? You've seen Adidas. You've seen in sports, only one, someone puts on Adidas, and they just keep changing the design by the same name, and they make a lot of money. So we have to think about these things that bring easy money, and also that give enough chance to other people to get employed. Because in Uganda today, 10,000 people graduate, like in a ceremony, and there are not 10,000 jobs.
Yeah.
But easily, one graduate can come out with the ideas of innovation on creating applications for marketing, distribution, live streaming and everything. And that can give other people jobs. One band has 20 people. One movie, a film, has 100 people.
Yeah. So
if we embrace this we don't, you know, the people call it Abadongo. It is not that. It is hear what you see. Because today in the morning when you came in your car, you're listening to a song. And the news that is made is about a creative somewhere. And the problem that we have is, I think it's a mindset where people think that it is not easy, because someone to think something, you can be singing in your bathroom. But if they give you a microphone, then you start realizing it's difficult. So the people who are talented to make a song that you love, if we skilled them, most of them are semi-skilled or not skilled at all, but they are talented. So if we polish them, we will have entertainment, we'll have keep our heritage, we'll give people employment. Because people are saying, no, the unemployment gap is becoming wider. Why? Because everywhere you want to go, they ask you, wasoma wichi. That is one. Secondly, they'll ask you, what is your experience? But what is Raggae Dee's experience about music? It's simple. I go to the studio, I sing a song. If people listen to my song, they know I think there's some skill in this guy. So now, that skill that was given to me by God, if I polish it, I become a professional. Now, that is employment. Now, what we need in this country is we need great thinkers. In the planning sessions, where they embrace the creatives. Yeah. You've seen of these designers, fashion designers in Uganda. They are trying, but the fabrics are very expensive. They don't have the proper machines to do the right design. You've seen these people who are doing the chairs in Wandegeya, in Katanga, there, in Waise, the ones who are making the furniture. They know the design. They do not have a good machine that will do the right design like the Chinese do. So at the end of the day, if we look into these people, they will be making money. And if we do not see them as people that bring in some money to the economy, I think it will not work. But we need to embrace them. We need to learn what are their bottlenecks. How best can we do things? Because just imagine we had the best audio studios in Uganda. We would have the best singers in Uganda. But you go in Machindi somewhere in Madirisa and you get a laptop and you sing a song. Now, how are you going to verse with Burna Boy? You can't. You see in Sweden, the boroughs, like in every district, they create a community center where there's a super studio, where there's good sound and everything. In London, same. But in Uganda, you will find 1,000 studios in one place, but all not good to compete. So at the end of the day, the outcome of the sound will be poor, the outcome of the picture will be poor, and will not compete on the world market. But if we want to compete on the world market, let us think of user-friendly areas that we can create the hubs where people go to think. In Israel, someone was telling me they created an innovation hub in every district. Yeah. And they make competitions. Come up with an idea and we pay you. There is no way you'll not think. But now
you'll be forced.
Yes, you're like, I want to be the best in Machinde to create an application that makes money.
Indeed. So, and at that juncture, I want to bring in Emma Carlos.
Yes, yes.
From what Mr. Daniel is talking about, it's like the gap in the industry is mainly in infrastructure and probably financing.
Yeah, true.
So what other gaps do you feel the financing, if the art industry is thought about during the budgeting process, what other gaps do need to be filled and looked at?
Well, thank you. Good morning, viewers. Before we get into that, I would like to first elaborate on the budgeting processes, just for the viewers and fellow practitioners in the arts industry. We fall under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development.
Who?
Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development.
Who falls under that?
The arts industry, like the way you see sports under education and sports. So there we have a Department of Culture, and then we have institutions there. We have the Uganda National Culture Center, UNCC, and NCF. Ideally, we're supposed to build consensus on the issues that he has mentioned that need financing. At the moment, we have the 5 issues. The first one is access to capital, like he said. We need to have capital, so that to carry out our things. We need to skill and train, like he said. We need to have access to market and trade. We need to align the governance and the regulations. That's where you hear the copyright and all other laws that are governing the sector. And then last but not least, the infrastructure. So those are the 5 key things on the strategic plan that we consulted together with the Learning Ministry and other agencies, then forwarded to the ministry. Now the ministry has to develop what they call a ministerial paper, ministerial statement, policy statement that it presents in cabinet, in cabinet, and then parliament, which appropriates the funds. Unfortunately, this year we are not into the budget. I don't know why government didn't prioritize the arts, but our objectives have always been the job creation, contribution to GDP, and other issues that opportunities that government is missing out. So after the ministerial paper and then appropriations, then this money falls back to finance those 5 key aspects I've given you. We talked to the commissioner, I think, 2 weeks ago, and then they told us that we're not in the budget. However, we're going to be in the next budget. One of the hindrances why we haven't been in the budget, of late, the government has started understanding us. One of the hindrances where we haven't been in the budget, National Development Program 3, NDP 3, did classify us, the previous one that has ended. However, fortunately enough, in the next NDP 4, we have been classified and our issues have been raised. NDP 4 is a government blueprint that government follows to finance sectors. So, fortunately enough, the budget process for the next financial year, which is 2025-2026, the process is going to start in August, and hopefully government will listen to us and be able to fund these key issues I've given you. But unfortunately, these were not in the budget. That's what I have to say.
What was the explanation behind that?
That's what I've told you. Government is very complex. We were in government finances issues that are in development plan, NDP, for instance, NDP 3. So NDP 3, they had classified us as mindset ambassadors and community mobilizers.
Basically influencers.
Influencers. But now in NDP 4, our issues, like I've given them 5 there, they have been well aligned, and government is going to start planning and financing and budgeting according to that. So government is very complex. That's why you see all the money that has come into the sector has been by what? By supplementary budget. Because we are not official in the what? In the official budget. All the money that we got that compensated promoters, money that strengthened structures has been coming through supplementary budgets. But we are good that National Planning Authority listened to us and they put us in the government blueprint, which is the NDP 4.
So NDP 1, NDP 2?
NDP 3, we aren't there. We are coming.
But in 1 and 2, the arts
weren't there. Even in even the recent one, NDP 3, the arts weren't there.
Why is that?
People did, okay, 2 things. One, we as the practitioners also were laissez-faire a lot. However, around COVID, that's when the advocacy for the sector really started. And then 2, even the government, the other side, didn't understand the sector. Because the nature of the sector, you wake up in the morning, I want to be a talent manager, you go, you get an artist, you start making your money. However, during COVID, the money stopped coming in, and then we got what we call a wake-up call. That's when, through Raggae Dee and a couple of other artists like Bujingo, Mariam Dagiri, Charles Batamze, the whole tiaba, the whole sector, we mobilized ourselves under the forum and we started advocating. Those are the changes and the vibe that you're seeing. The copyright law, the people going into parliament. So we are learning slowly the sector and then getting it together. Before you know it, it's going to be taking instruction and contributing to the national grid. That's it.
So there has been a lack of professionalism, representation?
Not exactly professionalism, lack of professionalism. It has been that we were comfortable then.
With what?
We were comfortable.
If you haven't been included in the budget for all these years.
We were comfortable, like I'm saying, we were comfortable then because we were earning and things were moving well. However, the disruption of COVID gave us a wake-up call, and we saw so many opportunities we were missing. Let me give you an example. The digital market, the digital space, like for music streaming, it's a big. The last statistics of 2022 show that that market alone is equivalent to $33 billion. For us, back in the day, normal practice was when you get a song, you make sure it gets airplay, you get a hit song, and then you look out for what? For bookings. We didn't look into the digital market, look at it. We only looked at public performances. Those are some of the things that came out. And then for us to survive and commercialize our music or content on the digital space, we saw to it that we need to have a law that is functional. That's when the copyright campaign started. We're amending the copyright campaign so that we have provisions that can protect and help us commercialize our content on what? Digital space. So the turning point of us, the practitioners, and also government realizing the potential and power of this sector so that we can enhance its opportunities started when COVID came in. That's it.
So what guarantees would you hopefully put in place to make sure that when NDP4 comes about, the art sector is indeed included and it's a point of discussion? Like
I said, the NDP National Development Program, Program is the government blueprint. Yes. So if you're in there, definitely it's going to be paramount, or it's going to be of duty of our aligning ministry to make sure that it budgets for that sector. For us in the private sector and the National Culture Forum, we are just going to maintain the pedo and maintain the pressure on government. That's it.
So the only plan that you have is to
that's our duty.
Exert pressure.
That's our duty. That's our duty. Like other sectors are doing. For us, we're going to exert pressure because that's our mandate under the forum and as practitioners to want to highlight the opportunities the government is missing in this sector and then make sure it also plans for it and budgets for it. Our duty is to, and once the money comes, also make sure that it goes to the right things it's supposed to do so that we have a sector that is viable and can contribute to national development.
Mr. Kazibwe,
yes,
from what Emma is saying, the sector is not as valuable as you might think.
Yes.
How do you change this perception?
First of all, for the viewers, we need to change our mindset. From the top leader to the bottom. Now, mindset is a very important thing. Is if you are not focused on something, you can never build it. Uganda has never woken up to say that the creative sector should have its own ministry. We have what they call scattered mandates. Now, you see, they are fighting for this small cake, which would be made one big cake. Minister of Tourism comes and says, all the crafts are ours, all the museums are ours, but that is under the creative sector. UCC, which is communication, comes and says, the film is ours. Now, if you have UCC, you have tourism, then you have labor. When you're budgeting and you do not have a focus on one thing, you can never do the right thing. We need a ministry that is for the creative sector. The creative sector is so big, it is humongous, it's big. And how big is it? We have like the 9 domains. Under those 9 domains, we have the innovation, where people create these computer games and everything. Yeah. No one is looking at them as important. But if you go to Sweden, the youngest kids are making money out of making these games for the kids. Yeah. You've seen how much Xbox can cost. A lot of money. And we have kids here in Uganda that are doing these things. And no one is looking at them as important.
Have the potential.
Yes. Now, we need a country where people understand that if we created a ministry for the creative sector, we are not only promoting a film or music, our heritage. Did you know that the bar cloth is patented by a different country, but it is made in Uganda? We weave baskets, and they're bought by people in East Africa, and they call them theirs. We have the mats, our local mats. We are lucky to have 55 tribes with different languages, with different food, with different dances, with different... what I'm trying to tell you is...
we have so much
that we have not used. The people come to this country. You have seen NGOs that are the main sponsors of all these creative programs. And you know what they do is because they are thinking, we can make money before these people wake up. They are making money before we wake up. They are making all the festivals before Uganda does its own. We would have the World Booze Day in Uganda.
The World what?
Booze Day.
Boozing like beer?
Let me tell
local
you,
gin.
the local gins done in this country.
We have
these are all heritage. These are all cultural. These are points where you do not even have to say that, we need a lot of thinkers. Have you been to Arua?
Yes, I have.
Have you been to Gulu?
Yes, I have.
And you've seen the communities seated. Do you know what that means? When those people are seated together on a round, where they have their gourd or they have their pot, and they're taking their malwa, already that is unity. Now, that is the heritage you are taking away. Someone brings a bottle, now, what we need to do is, we need to just think back a bit. It's just changing our mindset about the industry. Is if you watch how many movies, Queen of Katwe, is acted by people in South Africa. It should be Queen of Katwe in Katwe, and you see Katwe Chinyoro. The people who think that Uganda has a lot of talent and a lot of scenery, you know, when you're recording things in Uganda, they don't look like any other place in the world. We could use these simple things to make money. And you know why the people come from America, they like Uganda so much. You've seen Kanye West come to Uganda to shoot a video. Come to Uganda to shoot a video, and he shot a video that will never get that anywhere in the world. So if we would think and get some patient capital for the creative sector, access to capital, because now what takes us a wrong direction is if someone gives you a grant, they even give you what to do. They tell you what to do with the money. We are giving you this grant, you must act a movie about this. But do you know, because of the heritage in this country, imagine a movie of Avamboa. Imagine a movie of the Matters. We're talking about Matters Day. Yeah. But have you seen a movie of the Matters?
Yes, I have. I've seen one, Haji. Oh my God!
Is it on Netflix?
Me. No.
No.
I was about to ask, does it have commercial success?
No. See, if this movie goes to this movie goes to Netflix, let me tell you about Uganda. There's a Uganda you people don't know. If this movie went to Netflix, have you seen that a month ago?
Yeah.
They brought back the remains of the Matters with guards to take back those remains. They're coming for a process and being taken back. If those people can spend money to keep them and even make them travel, they're traveling first class, the remains of the Matters. Why don't we act a movie that goes to Netflix and Uganda can earn money out of that? And you see, when I'm talking these things, some things sound pathetic. Someone says, but what does this guy say? But what I'm trying to say is, did you know that the Madinda is the design of the xylophone?
Yes.
And those people, they came to Jinja to get the history of how it was done. Do you know how the backcloth is made?
Well, Mr. Daniel,
yes,
one can argue that the foreigners come to our country and do this kind of research and they compile all this data because us, we do not care about these things and we do not...
It's the mindset. I'm talking about the mindset. And you see, the ministries should come and make a think tank of why are people coming to this country and recording movies in this country and taking them away. Are you getting my point?
So is it all under the ministry that we have failed to do this?
Because of scattered mandates. How many theaters do we have?
National Theatre, we have one at the UN.
Does it sound very right when you tell someone this is a country of 50 million people with one theatre? Now, what happens is, because people don't know the value of that theatre or museum, in America, we go to America to walk on the Walk of Fame, where you see those stars. Do you know that when you go to Hollywood, you start to see the real America, but you've not been to Alabama to see the bad America.
Yeah.
Now, people pay money to go to California to just walk to see the star of Michael Jackson, to see the star of Dr. Dre, to see the star of all these superstars. Now, what happens if Uganda had a Walk of Fame just around Parliament, and you saw the star of Idi Amin? You saw the star of all these great people that have been in this country. You know, history is one thing that we have to think about.
To think about and keep and preserve.
When we change our mind towards things that build this country, is when I'm singing a song, it may sound something simple, but why do you think that we go to perform in Russia where they don't even understand our language? Because there is something they see in us that is not everywhere.
And at this juncture, Mr. Daniel Kazibwe, I want to bring in Emma Carlos. Emma, Mr. Daniel Kazibwe talks about a change of mindset. How is the budgeting process going to help with this? And could you just maybe add more water on the issue?
Okay, first of all, let me put the sector in clear perspective.
Yeah.
Like Chair said, we have 9 domains that make up the culture and creative industry, which is the art industry, commonly known as the music industry or the entertainment industry. Yeah. We have the first biggest domain, which is music. Yeah. We have film and video. We have performing arts. We have visual arts and crafts. We have culture and national heritage. We have the CMOs, collecting management organizations. Then we have support service, where I come from, where you find promoters, music managers, supporters. And then last but not least, we have, I think those are the 9 domains. So that's the sector. Now imagine, under music alone, we have subdomains. We have the performers, the singers, audio producers, DJs, songwriters, under just music. Now, having appreciated the spectrum of the sector, then let's go back to the scattered mandates. I think in Africa, there are only 3 countries, including Uganda, that don't have the arts and culture ministry fully fledged. So you may find the aspect of film is under UCC, that's Ministry of Information and National Guidance. Then you find the aspect of national culture and national heritage, which has museums and other intangible cultural art spaces, it's under tourism. Then you find music is under gender. Music, performing arts is under gender. Then you find the law that's supposed to help us commercialize our music is under Ministry of Justice, under URSB. That's the copyright law. So imagine all these things are scattered all over.
They're not in one place.
They're not in one place. So to have all this sector managed properly and planned for, we have been advocating for a fully fledged arts culture ministry. So that ministry wakes up every morning just to make sure it's planning for these 9 domains to enhance and fulfill enhance its potential. Going back to what you say, what you called mindset, under the provision or under the aspect of training and skilling, that's where I want to help and empower our practitioners. Half of the people, almost even 90% of practitioners in the sector are not hitting their potential to maximize productivity. I can give you an example of recently audio producers and songwriters started a campaign dubbed Wake Up Call. You look at a person like, a very gifted person like producer Washington, he has a catalog of over 30 hours. That if you wake up in the morning and sit down and you wake up at 7 a.m., you'll go another 24 hours listening only Washington's music. However, these 30 hours are not enhanced for him to fully benefit from them. Why? He doesn't have the skill, the digital literacy to make sure that he maximizes his potential.
And that's where your sector comes
in. That's where the support of government comes in. First of all, help and skill and empower these people to know their potential, to increase on their productivity. That's what I'm telling you. Mindset change. So all of us, even me, I woke up in the morning, I did a bachelor's in education, I went into talent management. I'm not top notch like Marvin of Marvin Records or Don Jazz. I need a skill to to make sure that I really hit the potential a talent manager is supposed to hit. So our point is this: 1, government, in my view, perspective, the last 4 years we've been with him doing advocacy, government has started getting the feelers. However, like any other system where there are changes, there's political will. Let's first agree there's political will to have this sector aligned. However, now the biggest hurdle for us practitioners, and I'm calling upon all creatives, is having these people in ministries, in departments, finance, parliaments, gender, UCC, ministry, to have these technical people aligned to the vision of practitioners that we have. But if all these mandates are scattered all over, it's going to be difficult for us to manage this sector, and it's going to take us a long time to realize the potential of this sector. So we have been advocating.
Sorry to cut you short, Emma. Has a proposal been put forward for this?
Many, and they are going.
What are the impeding factors?
There's actually a letter by the president. Okay, let me give you a background. Around 2001, the National Culture Forum, through our member association, which is Uganda Comedians Association. The Uganda Comedians Association is a member of the National Culture Forum. We wrote to the president about all these issues, the scattered mandates, all the cocktail of issues. He wrote back to the Prime Minister then, who was Honorable Ndugu Akana Rugunda, telling them that in these 5 years of the NRM, between 2021 and 2026, look at this sector. And he highlighted 4 issues in that letter or in that directive that we have been following. One, let's sort out copyright. But now look at it. It has taken us 3 years just to amend a law with a few provisions that actually are pro-artists and pro-development. Let's align copyright. Then two, let's make sure that this organization and infrastructure is looked at. Then three, he talked about when he reached on the point of the ministry, he had advised that this one we shall handle what? In cabinet. But 3 years down the road, nothing has been reported about having a what? A fully fledged ministry. So for us in advocacy, we don't give up. Because God is still giving us life. We are going to push, 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 push. However, I would like to report back on the issue of copyright. We just learned recently that it was in cabinet and it's coming back in parliament to be discussed. But still, the technical people, we are still hitting the provisions. Like for instance, a provision, let me give you an example. The money we are losing. There's an aspect called private copy levy. Private copy levy is a system where gadgets that consume music, content, film and everything, a levy is put onto these gadgets and it's sent into a consolidated fund and then back into the what? In the sector. Now we found a hurdle. Was it Minister of Finance, Jaja? Minister of Finance, they didn't understand this aspect. A private copy levy in a country like Malawi is working very well. First of all, it has benefited their government and it also plowed back capital back in the what? In the system. So until the government sits down, which he had started, and first of all, one cardinal issue it has to first sort out, have a ministry, and then all these other things will fall into place. Thank you for understanding.
This is such a very important conversation, and I feel like there hasn't been enough dialogue on it. And just because we are running out of time, I will ask my producer to have you back here again.
Oh, thank you.
So that we further dissect this issue, because I feel it has been ongoing.
It's been ongoing.
It's becoming very ridiculous.
True.
Because at the end of the day, we have seen certain policies.
By that, no milestones have been hit. Things are here, touch piecemeal here, piecemeal here, piecemeal. We need to.
Oh dear.
True.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for coming through. I know we have run out of time, but I am sure we shall have you back to continue this conversation, which is quite impertinent to have. And well, you who has been watching me, be sure to go and rewatch this conversation on YouTube and continue the conversation on our social media platforms, that is on X, which is Twitter, and Facebook. Use the hashtag #MorningAtNTV.